Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Set Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask An Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it, and drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around because I'm going to read some of the positive comments from previous videos. All right, so this is an interesting question that somebody asked me. And what I did was I went online and I did some research. They asked me to tell them some warning signs. Oftentimes I talk about warning signs, things you can tell that something is getting ready to happen. And this person asked me to talk about warning signs in relationships and romantic relationships. What is a good warning? What are some good warning signs that something is going wrong? Okay. And you might need to get out. You might need to get some help. You might need to get some therapy, but you need to do something. So I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the most common ones that I found online. Number one, guilt trips. If you're in a romantic relationship and your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend is always putting you on guilt trips about every little thing. So if you can't do something, for example, for your wife, she wants you to pick her up or something like that, and you can't make it because you have to work a double shift or something. And she's like, okay, well, nobody ever cares about me, and comes off with this attitude, like she's trying to make you feel guilty or ashamed of yourself for not being able to do what it is that she wants you to do. This is definitely a bad sign because it's something that people do. Now, mind you, all of these things by themselves might not be that bad. It might just be an annoyance. But if you have several of these things, all of these things, most of these things, you more than likely, especially when dealing with guilt trips, are dealing with a person who's emotionally abusive and manipulative. And you don't know to what extent that's going to go to, especially if you just met them and they're already doing this kind of behavior. Any of these behaviors in the very beginning are a sign that you need to run. But like I said before, guilt trips is the first one that I came across. A lot of people complained about that, especially in relationships where the power dynamic is off. One of the people may try to make the other one feel guilty because that is their power, to try to pull your strings, emotionally speaking. Number two, withdrawal of affection. So if they're only affectionate with you when you're doing things they want you to do, or they're in a happy space with you, or you're giving them what they want or something like that, and any other time they withdraw affection from you, don't want to hold your hand, don't want to give you a kiss, that is a person who is using affection to get what they want from you. Not that they really feel affectionate towards you. They're just using it to get what they want. It's a manipulation. So again, you can see how this can be problematic, especially if you're in love with this person. Next, isolates you from your family and friends. A person who doesn't want you around your family and friends is usually trying to isolate you so they can abuse you. Okay? And in most cases, if they can't isolate you, they just start making sure that you only talk to your family and friends when they're around. So this person might have a problem with everybody that you know. Now, you might know a lot of screwed up people, okay? And they might come into your life and be like, oh, this and that, that and this. And they might point some things out to you. That's actually kind of normal. But if they have a problem with everyone in your life and they don't want you to spend time with anyone but them and their people, or if they insist upon being around when you're talking to your mama on the phone or when you're going to Easter dinner, they always have to be in the conversation, that's somebody who's trying to isolate you so they can abuse you. And the thing about it is that once they've isolated you, you are going to feel trapped and they'll get to have more control over you. And plus, there's nobody around to tell you, yo, you're being abused. Okay? So they try to get you isolated from all those people who will talk sense into your head. Voldemort could not stand my best friend. And the reason why he couldn't stand her was because she was always telling me how he was screwed up. And I couldn't or didn't want to see it. And then I'm so simple, I would talk to him about the things that she noticed, which was where I made my mistake. I should have just listened to her and peeped from back deep. But I was talking, like I'm trying to fix it, instead of just realizing it's not fixable. So he couldn't stand her and spent our whole relationship trying to sever that relationship. Even after I stopped seeing him, he kept on attacking and, oh, you shouldn't be around her and she's fake and she's this and she's that. Every time I spoke to him, he brought her up. And that's why, because they want to isolate you from people who can see them for who they really are. Next one. This one says unreasonable jealousy. Now, why does it say unreasonable jealousy? Why doesn't it just say jealousy? Because jealousy in itself is not a problem. Everybody gets jealous. I know people in polyamorous relationships, polygamous marriages, and they all tell me that they've dealt with jealousy. Jealousy is a natural part of life. You might find yourself jealous. I'm not going to say everybody gets jealous, but it's normal to get jealous if you do. The abnormal part is when it's unreasonable or when you are exploding or abusing your partner because of it. I'll give you a perfect example. My ex, the Taurus, did not like me to go in Rite Aid. Okay? Because there was a woman in Rite Aid who I said had beautiful hair. That's all I said. She had it in this cute style with these blonde streaks, and I thought it was adorable. And I told my ex that she should do her hair that way. After that, I was forever banned from going to Rite Aid. And she was serious. I don't care where we had to go, what we had to do. I was not allowed in Rite Aid unless she was with me. Unreasonable jealousy. Because I not only was not interested in this girl, I didn't even say anything that would implicate that I might be ever even one day. Okay? But my ex has some insecurities. So I understood that. So I just didn't go in Rite Aid. I ain't with no smoke, y'all. So I just didn't go in Rite Aid. But the point of the matter was that that's that unreasonable jealousy that did show that there were bigger problems underneath the insecurity. And that insecurity is what later led us to breaking up. So that unreasonable jealousy was showing me that insecurity was there. The next one, ignoring, excluding you. So some of the times when a person is in a relationship with you, they will ignore or exclude you. Ignoring can be just not answering your phone calls till they're good and ready. Excluding you can be doing something with their family and friends and not inviting you. Now, mind you, you're probably not going to get invited to everything. There might be something that they decide to do with just the fellas or something like that. Likewise, they're not going to jump every time the phone rings. They might be sleeping, don't hear it. But the bottom line is that when this is a consistent pattern of behavior, they're doing it on purpose. And you have to ask yourself then, depending upon which one it is, why? Let's do a few more I found. Refuses to communicate. This is one that Aquarius are very often accused of. And it's not because we don't want to communicate, it's because we can't deal with the emotional aspect of whatever that communication is. This is also a warning sign. And this is why I tell a lot of people that I'm very funny and very careful about dealing with Aquarius, especially romantically speaking. Because if you can't communicate with me, you can't be my lover. And if the person is shutting off on you and refusing to communicate with you, that means that their communication is not that great. I've had that problem a lot in the past. My communication didn't get good and probably still could be better until recently. All the other relationships I had, if you ask my exes about my communication, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that they would have some version of refusing to communicate, arguing, snapping out, nasty attitudes, something along those lines will probably have been my response back in the day. And that's a problem. If you can't communicate with your lover, that should not be your lover. Gaslighting and manipulation. Any kind of manipulation is a problem, okay? It shows that they're trying to control you, and it could generally leads to some type of abuse. Gaslighting is the same kind of thing. It's a manipulation, but it's a kind of manipulation that we've talked about on this channel before. And it's basically when somebody tries to make you believe what's happening isn't happening. So he cheating, but he keep on telling you you're insecure and you're crazy. But the truth is he is seeing that girl. Okay? That's gaslighting. And we've all experienced some form of that if we've ever been in a bad enough relationship. Constant put downs. If your lover is putting you down, talking smack about you, I mean, honestly, I'm not expecting your lover to be perfect. I'm not expecting your lover not to lose their temper or y'all to have a bad interaction. But if your lover is constantly putting you down, talking smack about you, coming at you negatively with jealousy or nasty attitudes, that person should not be your lover. Because what's going to happen is that it's going to tear at your self-esteem. And that is not good. Next one. Humiliates or embarrasses you. Oh my God. Sometimes this may happen by accident. I mean, you know, you might make an off-color comment that you didn't mean like that. Yeah, that happens sometimes. But this is that they're constantly humiliating you, constantly embarrassing you in front of other people most of the time. It's usually in front of people, either people that is in their clique or people who they know aren't going to say anything. If your lover is constantly humiliating and embarrassing you, especially if it's added on with put downs, this is a person who's emotionally abusing you. And you need to get away from this person because it's going to tear you down if you allow it to happen long enough. Now let's see the next one. Threats and intimidation. If your lover threatens you or it tries to intimidate you, and this can be a number of different ways. I remember this one woman was saying that whenever her husband got angry with her, he would refuse to pay the bills. And she wasn't working. So he would threaten not to pay a bill, let something get turned off, those kind of things. And that was his way of punishing her if him and her got into something or she wouldn't do what he wanted. Another woman was saying that he would physically abuse her. He was I'll never forget, she told me one time he was sitting next to her and stabbing her with a fork. And her kids were in the room, they were small, and she didn't want them to know what was happening. So she sat there, she said, while he was stabbing her till she bled with the fork. And trying to act like nothing was wrong so the kids wouldn't be alerted. If you have something like this going on, you are definitely in the realm of physical. Not even in the realm. You are face smack dab, knee deep in physical abuse. Because that only escalates. If he's stabbing you with forks today, he's going to be beating you down tomorrow. Definitely a situation that is a warning sign for the future. You are already in the middle of it. You like right there. Compulsive lying. This one, a lot of us have dealt with. And it's part of that manipulation. But basically, they keep lying to you about their whereabouts, lying to you about what they said, lying to you about what you said, lying to you, just lying. Lying, period. Sometimes lying for no damn reason. If your lover is constantly lying to you, that's a relationship you don't need to be in. And so many people I know stay in relationships with people that they know are liars. And I'm like, how do you trust a liar? Bad business. And the last one that I found was threatens suicide. Now, this one is one that I've heard from a lot of people. So basically what happens is you and your lover have a fight. You get tired of their shit. You tell them you ain't coming around no more. You go home or to wherever you go, and they start blowing you up, telling you they're going to kill themselves. And you are so terrified. And of course, you know, if you're a good person and you're not a sociopath and you're a good person, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh my God. And you're going to worry about him. You're going to worry about her. You're going to be like, oh my God. And you're going to go over there and try to stop them or try to talk them out of it or whatever the case is. And in most cases, they either weren't going to do it in the first place. They didn't even intend upon doing it. Most of the time, it's just the manipulation. Or they may have intended upon doing it, but what made them tell you first? They didn't really want to do it. They wanted to manipulate you. So this is a really bad one. And I know a lot of people who have dealt with this one. And I told them, I'm like, look, I know you're a caring person. And the chances are, what if? What if this person does it? And I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't call them back. I didn't go check on them. And I'm like, look, on some real stuff, if you're really worried about this, send the cops or one of their family members to check on them. Because they're playing a game with you. And if they're really serious and something's really wrong, either the police, and some people don't like calling the police for understandable reasons. In that case, call their mama, call their sister, call their uncle, call their best friend, call one of their people that they know, call their neighbor, and ask them to go do a wellness check on them. I bet you, if you do that, instead of running over there, they'll stop that shit. They're going to stop it because they're not going to get the manipulation from you. You are what they want. They want you, not somebody else. Not a grief counselor knocking on the door. They want you. This was all about manipulating you. So those are the top warning signs that I found. If you're dealing with any of these situations, I beg of you to get some help. Help to get out of the situation. And you may even need some therapy of your own, because if you've been dealing with something like this long enough, and it doesn't even really have to be that long, you can be dealing with something like this for a couple of months and have lasting effects such as PTSD. So if you have something like this going on in your life, I beg you to get yourself some help before you get hurt. Because these situations, you're going to get hurt emotionally, mentally, physically. And in some cases, people have lost their lives. So I ask you to consider these warning signs. And if you are experiencing them, do something about it. If you aren't sure, call a domestic abuse hotline and talk to them about what you're experiencing. And that person can help you figure out if you're really being abused or not. And then they can help you figure out a plan to get away. Even if the person doesn't live with you or whatever the case is. But if you have an abusive person around you, they can help. Okay? All right, guys. Now it's time for us to talk about these. I got two great comments. One is from Charlie. Charlie says, "Hey Queen, I love your videos and appreciate them a lot because I can learn from them and can reflect and understand my behavior. Thank you for teaching us Aquarius about ourselves. Your dad's birthday is my birthday as well." Yes, February 2nd, Daddy's birthday. That's what's up. Thank you so much, Charlie, for leaving a message, and thank you for watching. Every time somebody tells me that my videos help them, even in a small way, that's my gratification. Some YouTubers get their gratification from numbers, from views, from subscribers. I get mine from how many people I'm actually able to help, even a little bit. If it just makes you feel better or makes you think, I feel like I did my job. Number 2 is Krystal Taylor. Krystal Taylor has received one of the highest numbers of hearts from me. Hey, Krystal. It says, I get super anxious when I'm confused or uncertain. I lose sleep. In worst cases, I will bite off heads in frustration. Yeah, this is why it's very important to really control your anxiety. And we talked about in another video, Aquarius and anxiety. So any of you who are wondering about Aquarius and anxiety, please look at last week's videos, because one of them was about anxiety specifically. And anxiety is, ain't that something? I mean, it can lead to panic attacks. I mean, anxiety attacks, which is similar to panic attacks, or probably this, I'm not sure if they're the same or if they're worse. I think panic attacks are worse than anxiety attacks. But either way, it's that feeling of anxiety that just really gets to you. So I know exactly what you mean, Krystal. All right, guys, it's time for us to get going. So I will talk to you guys soon. Come back soon. I have a lot more to say. And if you would like to get a reading done, please email me and I'll hook you up. See you later.